Lee Dixon passed fit at number 2. Kevin Campbell preferred at 9. And what a young midfield trio there. Number 4, Hillier. Number 7, Parler. Number 11, 18-year-old Ian Selly. Those 3 players haven't been starting many of Arsenal's recent matches, so quite a change around there by George Graham. Well, there were 6 survivors there from the semi-final 2 years ago. Spurs, in fact, have 7, including Naeem, who came on as sub that day, starting the match now in preference to 19-year-old Nick Barmby, who's on the bench. It's the team that won at Manchester City in the 6th round, so will they play the same way?
Well, I think they will. 2 young fullbacks who defensively I think have improved a lot this season. They like to get forward, but they've become more aware of those defensive responsibilities. Sedgley would do the anchor man's job, probably looking after Merson as he floats around. And of course up front more Anderton, who I must say I prefer in his old Portsmouth role, sort of wide on the right side of midfield, but because Barmby's on the bench he'll be pushing closer to Sheringham.
But on this glorious morning and afternoon and fine Wembley surface, we can only hope that Terry Venables' type of football, and that preached down the years by him and George Graham, is seen to be today, on a showpiece occasion, the deciding factor to determine who plays in the final itself. Arsenal red and white, Spurs traditionally white and blue, and Ian Wright up front straight away. And the first foul, in fact, is by Merson. Well, can we possibly hope for the sort of start we had yesterday? The old Spurs favourite, Chris Waddle, 63 seconds. Ruddock takes the free kick, looks for Sheringham. Up goes Tony Adams, away by Hillier. Definite that Parler's playing on the right side at the moment. Merson looks to be just in behind the front 2, which Trevor will pick up, I'm sure, as the team settle down. Here's Linnigan. Sheringham just hoping to sneak in there. That's Naeem on the far side.
Yeah, you mentioned Merson. I mean, Merson will play just behind the front 2, and Sedgley is the one actually who will be detailed to mark him. And at the other end, Hillier is sticking closely to Samways, and those 2 are very influential midfielders, like to get forward and supply the strikers. It'd be interesting whether Samways or Merson gets the more space.
David Seaman, who will be determined to do well today. Here's Anderton. They all are, but Seaman for special reasons. Anderton, Sheringham! And indeed, every goalkeeper likes to get a good early save in. And Seaman, after what happened to him at the hands of Gascoigne and Lineker, saw that Anderton was shaping there for the first real shot from Tottenham. Sheringham had the final effort, but the 2 up front combined well. Still seem to talk about Terry as the manager. Of course, he's the chief executive, and he's taken something of a backseat behind Messrs Livermore and Clements. Here's Sedgley, and here's Parler, and Campbell's out to the right. Ian Wright is in the middle, and Parler tries to charge through. It's come to Campbell anyway, taking on Edinburgh. Campbell's cross, important interception. Dean Austin again, that's twice, having to come right across from right back to cover a dangerous break there by Arsenal. Anderton. Allen. Now Austin further forward. He started well, the number 2 for Spurs. Young lad on a big occasion. And here's Paul Allen. Sheringham in the middle. Naeem further over. Anderton joins them now. Foul. And Adams reacts a little angrily as he gets up after bringing down Paul Allen. Now the test here is whether Arsenal can contain Ruddock and Mabbutt. Ruddock's gone up to the far side of the area. Adams looks to be marking him. Mabbutt's in there too, and so is Sheringham. It's off Linnigan, in fact. And now Campbell takes on Sedgley, and it opens up for Arsenal. Hillier's in the middle, Wright is further forward. There goes Wright, locked off.
strong run by Campbell, wasn't it? He is a powerful player. He's had a poor season, strangely enough, and then about 3 weeks ago he scored a couple of goals and has suddenly come to life again, and that's why he's kept Alan Smith on the bench today. He went past it just in Edinburgh earlier, didn't he, down the line, and got a good cross in, and so he started well.
There goes Campbell, up against Ruddock. He got half a shot on it.
Terrific ball from Hillier there. The sort of pass I would have thought they'd been trying to get Wright in on, but it's been 2 or 3 occasions Kevin Campbell rather than Wright.
Anderton, Samways had run offside, so Anderton went himself. Good decision by the number 9, and then Linnigan challenged him. No foul given, it's a corner. Spurs surround Mr. Don. Sheringham and Naim up to him immediately to appeal. Sedgley as well. They felt it was a foul on Anderton by Linnigan. Trevor.
It was a foul. He didn't get the ball. Anderton towing it past him. The referee looked at the linesman, who was right next to the 2 players. He didn't flag, so he didn't give the decision.
Well, suddenly the semi-final comes to life with a controversial moment. Darren Anderton, the man allegedly brought down, takes the corner kick. Ruddock's in there again. And Ruddock appeared to be held there as well, but with his arm on his head, he signals, but nothing's given. This is a good spell for Tottenham. It's Edinburgh. What I'd like to know is, was it inside the area when the impact was first made on Anderton? And someone's spoken about it too much here. Tottenham are in trouble with the referee. 2 decisions didn't go their way, and somebody has said too much. I suspect it's Sedgley. And the Arsenal players are doing some pointing as well. It's Paul Allen, in fact, who's being booked. Yellow card for Allen. Now, Anderton was away. The defender was Andy Linnigan, and he comes in here. Now, what I'd like to know, it's a foul, Trevor Brookings says, but was the impact on the other side of the line? Would it have been a penalty, or would it have been a free kick?
I think when he slides in, first of all, you'll see that he's outside. But as he actually makes contact, oh, I'd have said perhaps just outside the 18-yard box.
That was my query on to start with. I would say that would have had to have been a free kick, Trevor, really, not a penalty, in fairness to Arsenal. But I do agree with you, it was a foul. In the meantime, Linnigan got a bang in the eye. We're not quite sure how. There was all sorts of reaction to that corner that followed. And there's some good humour down there, it would seem. Certainly, there's David O'Leary sharing the joke. Here's Merson. Oh, he saw where Torsvet was.
Terrific bit of vision. In the end, initially, you thought, well, no, what's he doing? But because Torsved was off his line outside the 6-yard box, tries to hit it with the outside of his foot, doesn't quite get the swerve.
Here's Samways, and this is Anderton. Austin spreads the play. Ruddock is still forward, gets a touch on it. Mabbott wide again to Naeem, and still Ruddock is in there, and there he is, Ruddock!
It's always dangerous, isn't it, Neil Ruddock, in those situations. Good cross, he gets a running jump, whereas Linegan's had to backpedal and stand. Didn't quite have the power to ever feel it was going to beat Seaman.
Here's Merson. In the way was Mabbott. And this is Sheringham. Things are really brightening him up now. And Adams gets mixed up here. And there's a real danger. And it was Vinnie Samways. And Seaman scrambled back. And Adams will be so relieved. Samways was clean through for Spurs.
Well, that was nearly an unbelievable calamity, wasn't it? First of all, Tony Adams missed kicks, but on his left foot, I must say, I thought Vinnie Samways might have done better. And then secondly, David Seaman, it slipped through his hands, but was always going to trickle wide.
Here's Wright. They've kept him quiet so far, have Tottenham. And Dixon was a bit tight there. It's Naeem. Sheringham in the middle, being joined now by Anderton and Sedgley. And Naeem tries to find Sedgley first time, can't. And it comes off Adams, and then it's Winterburn, and Arsenal are in a fix here. Well, they've got out of it. I'm not sure that they know how. This is Merson. And through the middle goes Campbell at the other end. Wright and Selly waiting in the centre. It's still Campbell.
Two little flutters at either end, weren't there? First of all, a couple of little panics. Wright's ball to Dixon, where Naeem pinched it off him, and then it went into the box, and Adams sliced his clearance, and then they managed to hack it away. And then a good ball from Merson to release Campbell, who's getting clear a lot more than Wright, isn't he?
Well, he is, actually. And that's a foul by Linegan on Sheringham. And the second half of this first half has been much more interesting than the start. It's suddenly, the match has produced 3 or 4 incidents, any one of which could have produced the first goal. And indeed, at the moment, Ruddock is lining up for a possible free kick, and Arsenal, mindful perhaps of what Sheffield United didn't do, have formed a wall. And Ruddock chips it in. Headed on, in fact, by Mabbott. Naeem. Austin for Tottenham. Good play by the fullback, going alone. And Adams steps in. And now Sheringham, as Spurs show some freedom of expression. And Sheringham gets Austin in. And Winterburn steps across him. And Austin wins it back. And here's Anderton. And again it's Winterburn. Thrilling play there by Spurs. Austin right at the heart of it from right back. And in the end it's a corner, which will bring Ruddock forward again. 2 Arsenal players jumping with Ruddock, knocked back in by Allen. Offside flag up against Sheringham in the centre. Merson had some good moments, Paul Merson already. Back by Mabbott. Dixon. And again. Selly. Well played by Paul Allen. This is Samways, and now it's Sedgley on his left. He'll want it there, couldn't pull it back. But it's still with Tottenham. Edinburgh. Samways. Ruddock. Well, Arsenal will be pleased to cross the halfway line and try and bring Campbell and Wright into the game. They've been out of it for the last 10 or 15 minutes. And here's Anderton, who's very much in it. Takes on Linegan. Sheringham is onside, but didn't quite have the extra yard, and Seaman not pleased with the challenge at the end.
Just a bit of frustration for Teddy Sheringham, because Tony Adams, you'll see, just step up, but when the ball was played, he wasn't offside. It just ran away from him too much.
Just about something, and in fact, the referee is waving Ruddock away. as tempers rise slightly at the end of the half. In fact, Doug Livermore ran across to make sure that Ruddock didn't continue that conversation. And quite a lot of activity there, not all of it in the goal mouth, towards the end of the first period. No score here. FA Cup semi-final, is there? And here we are at 0-0, starting the second half with Spurs now playing from the right. That's Sheringham, and this is Paul Allen. And one or two players having to watch themselves now. 4 on a yellow card. This is Austin, who I thought had a very good first half for Tottenham. Adams finds Parlour, taken out by Sedgley. This is Winterburn. Header by Mabbutt. Just in case you didn't catch the substitutes' names today, Alan Smith and Steve Morrow on the bench for Arsenal, Nick Barmby and Gudni Bergson standing by for Spurs. And that's Sheringham. And this is Edinburgh. Oh, now Parlour takes Edinburgh out. What did you make of that one?
Not a lot, because it's a wild challenge. Look, thigh high. I mean, I personally think that's a yellow card offence. I think it was on the blind side of the referee, so I don't think he would have seen quite how bad it was. But I mean, Edinburgh got past him, and there's no excuse for a tackle that high.
And as the said Mr. Smith watches, Messrs Samways and Anderton round the ball. Sheringham closing in on Linnigan. This is Anderton. And Arsenal had 3 men to clear that. It was Linnigan who did so, and then Austin for Spurs. Allen. Oh, it's a good ball. Vinny Samways to Naeem. Really stretched the play, and it stretched Arsenal a bit. This is Anderton. He'll try and stretch them more here. Mabbutt's up on the far side. Had space. And intelligent play by Gary Mabbutt. That wasn't a free kick or a corner, and the centre-back made it his business, with Anderton providing the cross to get into a dangerous position.
It was all set up by that original ball from Samways, wasn't it? Most people were expecting Mabbutt to head it back across, and so they gave him 3 or 4 vital yards, but he couldn't quite keep his half volley down.
That was a glorious crossfield ball by Vincent Samways, which completely changed the point of the attack. Here's Edinburgh. Oh, that's a good ball again by Tottenham. Samways again. Sheringham in the middle in a good position. Samways cross and picked out by Seaman.
Should have been in early. It was a good pass that released Samways. Sheringham had a yard or 2 on the back 4 of Arsenal. Wanted to cross in early, but as soon as he carried it to the byline, the space got squeezed out. But I think he made the point to Vinny Samways, get it across earlier.
That was Ruddock. Yes, 2 years ago when Spurs won the Cup and Arsenal won the league, they had a 0-0 draw here, as I recall, in the Charity Shield. And who's going to separate them today, if anybody? Here's Campbell, he might. Tries to find Wright. Oh, and it's Selly! Good save, and Wright's in! Double save by Torsvett. And the 18-year-old there could have made his name, Ian Selly. The chance fell to him, and he tested Torsvett. It's Campbell that sets up the play. Selly up with his right foot. Volley with his left. Good effort. Good save. And look at this as Wright comes in. Brave and decisive goalkeeping by Eric Torsvett. Here's Samways for Spurs. Now, is that going to open things up? Campbell again for Arsenal. And Wright goes through the middle, cut out by Mabbutt. Forward by Austin. youngest man on the pitch. Could have become a hero there, but this is Samways, and he's through for Spurs. Nobody up with him at the moment. And because of that, it looked a very tame effort, but in all honesty, Vinny Samways had nobody, when he got the ball, making the ground quick enough to command a cross.
I think the only alternative he could have had was to come inside and try and get it on his right foot, because he so favours his left. He just sort of kept the ball a bit wide. But at the other end, that was definitely Arsenal's best chance. All came about actually when Neil Ruddock let Kevin Campbell have space to turn. Then he went past him on the edge of the area and toe-ended it through to Selly, whose first touch wasn't that good, but he did well to hit the volley, and then Torsved did well to retrieve the follow-up before right.
So, again, the game has a little purple patch, flickers into life, and here's Austin. The little pockets of incident increasing now as Merson gets away for Arsenal. Campbell and Smith switching over in the centre. It's still Merson. Anderton behind him now. Right! And he's put more difficult chances than that away this season. The goal there was virtually at Wright's mercy. It's a great run by Merson. He got round them twice over, really. And look at that. It seemed to spin off the side of his foot.
Well, Merson, a little bit fortunate to get past Ruddock there, but a great first-time cross, wrong foot's the defence. I don't know why Ian Wright sort of slid and fell over, because if he just stood up, side-footed it, I mean, 8, 9 times out of 10 he puts those away, and very good chance that.
They've suddenly found some space from somewhere. That was Parlour, and they nearly found a bit more there. This is a good piece of defending by Mabbott to Edinburgh. Now it's Samways. Naeem. Edinburgh. Still just in Edinburgh. And now Sedgley in quickly. Sheringham. But Arsenal break again. Winterburn looks for Wright. And again, it's a full-time job now for Mabbott, intercepting those. Sheringham gets it back. Helps it on. Anderton. Allen to his right. And Dixon and Linnigan. Oh, Linnigan drove it straight back against Anderton's foot. It could have gone anywhere.
Well, that's when, of course, the back pass came into it. He suddenly thought, I can't knock it back to the keeper, I'll hit it away. And it hit Anderton, as you say, it could have ricocheted in.
Look at Merson here. He's gone half the length of the pitch and nearly the whole width of it. Wright and Campbell wait in the centre. Selly's there too. Selly did well. Wright. Well played again by Austin. This is Anderton, and now it really has opened up. Teams are finding space on the counter-attack like no other time in the game. Anderton will be disappointed with the pass. But maybe, as Trevor Brookings said in the first half, at Wembley, as the second half draws on, tiredness maybe creeps in here and there, and the openings do seem to emerge. 20 minutes gone in the half. Right to Selly.
Just a rush of blood there, wasn't it? Ian Wright finding one or two little gaps now with his pace and knocked it unselfishly black. I think Selly had a 1-against-1, could have composed himself. But still, very even Steven.
Ruddock takes the kick. Linnigan. Parlour. Good turn. Close to his left here. It's Campbell to Merson. Selly's out wide. Wright is through the middle. It's still Merson. Here's Wright. Ian Wright finds space. Good save.
Well, he got his hand to it, but it went through, and fortunately just went over the crossbar. Again, Merson finding that bit more space away from Sedgley. Look where Sedgley is, and Wright hit it very well. Fortunately for Torsved, it was within striking distance and he could get his hands to it.
Adams nearly on the goal line. Linnigan forward again. Campbell's in there. Linnigan jumping. And Spurs playing a couple of short passes on the edge of their own area, but it's worked for them. Look at that. And here's Naeem, and Sheringham could get away here. Offside. Offside against one of the two runners. It may even have been Sheringham who was offside and not the man to whom the ball went. Samways.
Yeah, they had an extra man there, Spurs. Naeem should have just had the extra touch. If he could have played it first time, Sheringham would have been in. But then by holding it up, he actually found Samways, but Sheringham had moved offside.
Somebody's got his radio on, I can see. Wright thought he was fouled. His boot came off, in fact. This is Anderton. Sheringham. Anderton, as Alan Hansen said, has played as well as anybody for Spurs. He was in the semi-final this time last year for Portsmouth when he scored a goal in extra time. Here's Parler for Arsenal. Still Ray Parler. Now that's outside the area, just in Edinburgh, right under the nose of the referee. And there'll be no disputing that decision. There's the man with only one boot on, Ian Wright, but Beaks an experienced professional. And we've got a free kick then. Adams has now gone up as well. And Merson chips it in. And in came Tony Adams. And Arsenal have taken the lead. And the captain, Tony Adams, who scored at Ipswich in the 6th round and turned the game round there, has turned up again at the far post. He only came late. While Wright was coming back on the pitch, Adams came forward, and I think that threw the Tottenham marking. Look, he's the extra man, and there's nobody there. And with 10 minutes to go, Arsenal take the lead in the semi-final. Tony Adams, the scorer, with a header which goes across Torsvet. Through to the FA Cup final to meet Sheffield Wednesday here on May the 15th. They have beaten their North London rivals Tottenham Hotspur by 1-0. George Graham is at Wembley twice in a season. And as their supporters celebrate, the goal by Tony Adams was decisive on 80 minutes. And Arsenal finished the match with 10 men. Would have had to have tried to hold on to the lead, because in extra time, a man short, it would surely have favoured Tottenham, but it's all hypothetical. Adams is the hero, as he was of England on Wednesday. Anderton is in tears, and Spurs' Cup dreams this year are over. Arsenal have revenge for the semi-final of 2 years ago. Burying the memory of Gascoigne and Lineker, they've organised themselves today to meet what Tottenham had to offer, to smother it, and then to show resilience, fortitude and flair, let it be said, in the second half when they got on top. And tears for Tottenham.
These for all the boys, because our preparation for the game was very poor. I couldn't do anything about it. But I think we showed a lot of character today, and I think both sets of players played their heart out, and I don't think anybody can be ashamed of losing. I'm just glad it's such a big occasion, the FA Cup. It's the best in the world, National Cup competition. I'm just pleased to be there.
So I thought I better do something right in the second half, so it was there for the taking, and it was always going to be tight, and I'll go either way, and fortunately for us it was our turn this year.
Well, it's been an eventful and memorable road to Wembley this season. We'll review the story of the FA Cup next time. We're down to the last two. The final is almost upon us. It looks like being a tremendous match. Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday, certainly the best cup sides in the land. We hope you can join us for the big game. Until then, bye-bye.